Some words end with S, but this ending does not always have the same pronunciation. In this video, I want to talk about the pronunciation of words that end with S. Later in this unit, you can watch some additional videos about pronunciation. Here are 4 kinds of words that end with S. First, most plural nouns end with S. 1 glove, but 2 gloves. Second, possessive nouns also end with S.
Lisa's bright red hat and gloves are lots of fun.
If the bright red hat and gloves belong to Lisa, then they are Lisa's bright red hat and gloves. Possessive nouns also include an apostrophe, but the apostrophe does not change the pronunciation. Third, some verbs add S. These verbs are third-person singular present tense verbs. Consider the verb start. I start and you start, but he starts, or my work starts.
My work starts at 9 o'clock.
Fourth, some contractions end with S. When you contract a noun or pronoun with is or has, an apostrophe and S replace is or has. So that is great becomes that's great.
Really? That's great.
Or John has gone home becomes John's gone home. Now listen more closely to the pronunciation of S on the end of a word. Perhaps you already heard a difference between the sound of the S ending in some words and the sound of the S ending in other words. In starts, the S is not voiced, but in gloves, the S is voiced. Voicing refers to the vocal cords. When you pronounce a voiced consonant like Z in gloves, your vocal cords vibrate. You can feel the vibration in your neck where your vocal cords are, especially if you place your hand there. Z. We can call this sound the Z sound since that letter almost always makes that sound. When you speak a voiceless consonant like S in starts, your vocal cords do not vibrate. S. The S sound is a hissing sound. You can compare it to the sound of a snake, which hisses. The Z sound is a buzzing sound. You can compare it to the sound of a bee, which buzzes. Hiss. Buzz. So how do you know when the letter S is making the voiceless S sound or the voiced Z sound? The sound depends upon the previous sound, the sound before the S or Z sound. If the S follows a voiceless sound, that letter will make the voiceless S sound, S. The letter T in start is voiceless, so the S that follows it makes the voiceless S sound, starts. If the S follows a voiced sound, that letter will make the voiced Z sound. Now all vowel sounds are voiced. Your vocal cords vibrate when you make vowel sounds. So when S follows the vowel sound in Lisa's, the S makes the Z sound, Lisa's. Here are some words that end with a voiceless S sound because the S comes after a voiceless sound. Snacks, starts, friendships, laughs, myths. The K, T, P, and F sounds are voiceless, and in the word myth, the TH sound is voiceless. The vocal cords do not vibrate with voiceless sounds, so the S that follows them is also voiceless. Here are several words that end with the voiced Z sound because the S comes after a voiced sound. Ribs, beds, wags, miles, palms, pans, sings, prefers, gloves, plays, she's, ties, toes, clues. The sounds for the consonants B, D, G, L, M, N, NG, R, and V are voiced, and the vowel sounds in the last 5 words are all voiced. So the S that follows them is also voiced. When you add S to plural nouns or to third-person singular verbs, some sounds on the end of the word require you to add ES instead of just S. When this happens, you need to add another syllable with the S sound. In these words, the E makes the schwa sound and the S makes a Z sound. So a word like watch becomes watches. Watch is one syllable, or one beat, but watches is two syllables, or two beats. Watch, watches. Here are several words that have the ES ending. Watches, changes. Notice that this word has the consonant G, but it makes the J sound, J, changes. Bushes, dresses, quizzes. The CH, J, SH, S, and Z sounds at the end of a word require ES for plural nouns and for third-person singular verbs. Follow the tips in this video to put these sounds on the end of a word: the S sound, the Z sound, or the Z sound with an extra syllable. Additional videos later in this unit will also focus on pronunciation. Now I want to hear from you. What sound in the English language is the most difficult to pronounce? Maybe the S sound and the Z sound are not a problem for you, but other sounds are challenging. Add your comment to the discussion below this video.